thermal sound wave.
Thermal sound waves, the natural alternative to fast food radio. Do we have the Masia Lasia with us right now?
Laser, what up?
What's going on, superstar?
It has been too long.
I know.
Just living my life.
Absolutely, and doing big things, as we can see from all the posts and the news that's floating out there on you.
Big things that go on.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
And
So
with Masia One.
That's right. Masia One, who's been doing things for a long time. Like she's an artist that's been making her ground on her own for
Professor.
A long time. Professor, dancer, a writer, travel agent.
Apparently an airline, according to y'all.
Yeah, tour guide. Yes.
Masia Airlines. We never know where she's at.
Yeah, she's
all
everywhere.
of a sudden, one time you're seeing her in Singapore, next time she's in Hong Kong, she's in the
Everywhere.
Philippines, Jamaica.
Yes.
Masia Airlines.
Fresh off the success of the Far East Empress album, that's out now on all major platforms. Got to say that.
Yeah.
So get that if you haven't got that yet.
But
You're missing out.
She still got the Chinese money too, though.
Oh, always. Always China money. Yeah. Yin Xin. So you, speaking of Far East Empress, the music from that is going to be featured or is featured on the new Netflix series called Wu Assassins. Is that right?
Yeah, which is really dope. It's on the first episode, which is the good plug, because everyone's checking out what the show is all about. So a lot of people are gonna be watching the first episode. It's pretty much like the second song that comes on, I think.
Oh wow!
And another placement on the second episode. So I'm really grateful for that.
And what's the name of that show again?
Wu Assassins.
Wu Assassins.
Wu Assassins with the dude from Raid. He's an Indonesian martial artist.
Yeah. Raid. That dude is phenomenal.
Killing the game.
I watched even Raid 2. that Raid is phenomenal.
That's a classic.
Pure.
That is
classic. Like when it was going up in that building, is pure fight, pure broke up. Everything. Listen, I felt like I was watching the original Mad Max. At one point, it was like no words. We don't need no dialogue. Just beat people up. That was it.
Hand and feet bashment.
Hand and feet bashment business.
One man take on 100 man goal.
Bullet foot.
Yeah. So how did your music get into the Wu Assassins Netflix series? Like, did someone reach out to you, or did they just say, we like Masia One music, so we're just going to put it in here?
Well, I noticed that the music used for this series, which is really dope actually, is featuring a lot of Asian and Asian American artists.
Nice.
So they're keeping it legit, they're keeping it real, and reaching out to a lot of these artists on the come up, to reflect that their show is a storyline from San Francisco, going back to Hong Kong and China and that kind of thing. So they took on the music of kind of like first generation and second generation Chinese and Asian artists. So they reached out to me. Shouts out to Natasha Dupree. She reached out to me. She's like, yeah, I could get your music in this thing. Which the last time someone told me that, they're like, yeah, we could get your music into this movie. It turned out to be Fast and Furious 8. So
wow.
Yeah. They ended up using Warrior's Tongue for the trailer of Fast and Furious 8. So, someone just came to me and said, like, we got this little movie. I'm thinking it's a student movie, some hippie project. And the next thing I know, I was listening to Warrior's Tongue in blasting out of Times Square. So
Times Square, New York.
Yeah.
Now I have to ask this to make sure people understand. What major label are you signed to?
None. I've been hustling. I've been hustling on my own since I started. When I started in this game, there was no other female Chinese face in hip hop. I came up in the Toronto scene, so I was either told by a lot of major labels that I was not marketable, or there was no precedent, so they couldn't compare numbers to say, okay, this other Asian chick did really well. So
meanwhile, there's
we'll
like a billion Asians in America, but you're not marketable.
In America.
Oh, that's hilarious.
So yeah, I mean, I guess. The majors were scared to kind of take a risk because my image and how I looked was quite different. So I learned pretty easy on. I was staying with a lot of like punk rockers, and I learned early on from the punk scene that DIY is the way to do it. You know, they print their own
Do it
T-shirts, they do
yourself.
their own thing. So I just went on my way and started realizing that, hey, like I can actually do this for myself and also help other artists.
And I'm pretty sure a lot of other companies now are going to be like, we need to hop on the major airlines enterprise.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you
Shiny money
have been
every day.
moving.
Absolutely.
You have been moving at a big shot to Mia, because she was happy the first time I brought her down to Manhattan years ago to meet you. She went bananas. And big shout to DJ Golden.
DJ
Yeah.
Golden.
Anna Urbanson. Anna.
Yeah.
On the urban
Black gold, black gold.
Shout out to all of them. And
Well, I mean, what's a blessing is that I came up in the Toronto scene. I lived in and I worked with Aftermath and some Interscope artists as a ghostwriter for a while in LA. I spent some time in New York where I met y'all. And then I moved to Jamaica and then came back to Asia. So as a result of that kind of experience, a lot of North American music business comes to me asking advice about Southeast Asia and about the Asian region, because this side of the world is on and popping for hip hop, for
yes.
dancehall, for reggae right now.
I think many people.
Major the consultant.
Major
Consulting. Major
Major
consulting.
Airlines. Major consultant.
yeah.
It ain't a business card. My business card's a novel, honey.
Well, being that your music is in these films now, you know what that means, right, Major? We talked about this when you were in Brooklyn once upon a time.
That's
you
true.
remember that
I still
conversation,
got-
right? That means
That book.
that means you need to be in films now. That's what that means.
Yes.
They need
Here's
to
the crazy thing. When I first moved back to Singapore and checked some things out, because someone said to me, like, yeah, you should just start acting. But actors on this side are getting paid like $200 for
Yeah.
15-hour days and that kind of thing. I
Right.
think the promise is like for the endorsement deals afterward. So, being Chinese money is like $200.
Right. But that's out there for you to get though. That's the next movement. You know what I mean? So when it's right, when
I would love
everything
to.
lines up right for you.
In addition
Yeah,
to
Not
that,
not $200, but when everything lines up right. That's your next movement.
I mean, not everything is a money thing, but you want to feel appreciated and you grow in your craft when you can survive on it. So I think, like, as an artist, yeah, that's something I've never explored, and I would love to. But y'all know that I launched a Jamaican jerk sauce here in Singapore.
What? How come we don't have no jerk sauce here? Huh?
wait.
Yo,
Major
after
Airlines.
this is done, send me your address.
Major
I'm mailing it to you.
consultant. Major Airlines. Major consultant. Major sauce.
Major jerk.
Fire. But.
So what I realized is that there was a big stigma against reggae music and dancehall music here in Singapore, because they just imagined that anything reggae must be Bob Marley with a spliff, like Bob Marley smoking.
It's
Right.
so common.
That's
Is
the
it communist
only
out
kind of
there?
stereotype.
Is it communist out there in Singapore?
Sorry?
Is it communist still?
Is what? Sorry.
Is it communist still in Singapore? Or are they
No, like
open?
it's like
I might not say it right.
it's insanely illegal. You could go to jail for like 2 years for a pinner, that kind of thing, So it has a very negative stereotype that all reggae is like this and all dancehall is like this, So I was wondering how I could change that, and also most people think that all these Caribbean countries is in Africa.
Wow.
So I'm trying
I'm
to
happy you said
educate.
that though, because people.
Yeah, I
if
mean,
you
that-
don't
that's
know,
real.
you don't know. A lot of people don't know of a lot
Yeah.
of things.
I mean, if I went to a money changer in Singapore and said, like, yo, I need some Jamaican dollars, they'd be like, no, we don't carry African cash. Like, what? I mean,
Wow.
we all from Africa, but still,
Yeah, yeah.
Some people think that China is the entire Asian. That's it.
Yeah, that's
Well, that's true, too. I mean, when I say I'm in Singapore, they'll tell me that, like, where in China is that? I'm like, it's not in China. It's hot over here. I feel like Jamaica over here.
so
So
tell me
I
more.
was thinking of how to...
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was looking to how to change that stereotype, and so Asian people are a bit more conservative and shy to comment on a new culture or a new music, but they ain't shy to eat. Like, people be eating out here. So I'm like, all right, how we're going to teach them and kind of bring more people together is through food. And so we launched the sauce. You can open the jerk marinade and you can download a playlist of Southeast Asian reggae and dancehall artists from the South because we can't
Oh,
sell CDs no more.
right.
The
Oh
sauce is called
wow.
Suka Suka sauce. And yeah, we're using it as a way to help support regional artists as well. And they can go on the road and sell the Suka Suka sauce. So it's doing really well out here.
Nice.
Let me ask this
Wow.
question for people that don't know you. Of course, C.Truth
All right.
and myself, we know you and we know of things you do that many other people don't know. If people would see you and be like, I'm hearing you talk about a lot of reggae stuff, and you're Asian, are you really for the culture? Like, what are you doing for the culture to always be a part of it and using it?
Yeah, that's true. Well, I mean, when I left LA, I went to Jamaica because I was thinking to myself, what would be the opposite experience to Hollywood? Because I was ghostwriting for a lot of artists, but I wasn't feeling that connection as an artist. Like the heart and soul and sweat and inspiration that it takes. So when I went to Jamaica, it really touched my soul because, I taught some kids in a ghetto called 3 Mile. And I realized that, half these kids that had nothing except their voice to sing and their body to move had more talent than a lot of, like more entitled artists that I've met around the world. So I just fell in love with the culture. I got to record out of Tuff Gong. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I got to work with Sizzla Kalanji, and right now I'm working with Richie Stevens. Like, just blessings in life. And so when that kind of touched my soul, I came back to Asia and I saw how fast the pace of life was. And so, being a businesswoman, being Chinese money, I asked myself, what, all businesses are supply and demand. What does Asia need? And as I saw people running around, I said, number one, they need time, more time with their friends, more time with their family, more time with themselves. And they need to just relax more. So, of course, my brain's like, they need reggae music. So I started found an events company and a community called Singapore Dub Club, and we started bringing some of the greats to Singapore. So everyone from Sister Nancy to Johnny
Oh wow.
Osborne, um, who else come here? General Levy, like just artists that just pioneers of the craft, so that people can see it from authenticity and build up from there. And I think we're making quite an impact on Southeast Asia this way, and people coming up to me saying we've never seen artists perform like this before. Because a lot of the Jamaican artists, they're not just studio artists and they sound great in the studio. Like, they come out and they make sure that the energy of the people is just as much a part of the show. And so for me personally as an artist, my time in Jamaica taught me, like, before that, I was just, this MC was like, be impressed by my lyrical skills and like throw like a million syllables at your face, I'd be like, aren't I ill? Look, I'm the sickest MC you ever heard,
Right.
But what Jamaica really taught me and watching those artists is less an ego thing about me. Look at my lyrical skills, but can I really vibe with the crowd? Can I really feel what they're feeling right now and take them on a journey and rock them and move with them and really be a performer and an entertainer and catch a vibe with them? So, I mean, that's where my heart is for the culture and the music.
Wow. Now, it's Thermal Sound Waves, a natural alternative to fast
Hey.
food radio. We here with Masia One,
Mia show.
Masia Laser, Masia Consulting,
Mia airline.
Masia Jerk,
Mia sauce.
Souk Mama, and all that. Um, is there a Singapore Dub Club festival yet going on, or?
Ah.
Well, what I'm trying to pull together right now is really a Southeast Asian festival for the music, because it's incredible. You never imagine it, but in Indonesia, Jakarta alone has over 3,000 reggae bands.
Wow.
Like, think about
That's-
that. One city, just
that's-
one city.
Wow.
Yeah, one
That's,
city in
like,
Southeast Asia has
mind-blowing.
over 3,000 reggae bands.
That's mind blowing.
Or I took Bob Marley's granddaughter, Donisha Pendergast, to this remote island in Indonesia, like out in the middle of the deep blue. And there was a Marley bar there. And she's like, I can't believe my grandfather. He would never
Yeah.
believe that in the middle of the ocean, there's
Yeah.
something for him here,
Inspirations everywhere.
In Vietnam, yeah. In Vietnam, in Ho Chi Minh City, the 89% of the population is under the age of 35. This is post
What?
Vietnam War. We're talking a nation of young people. So all they want is something new. They don't want the stigma of the Vietnam War anymore. They
Yeah.
want hip hop. They want dancehall. They want new, fresh, inventive cultures. You know.
Right.
So
Right.
it's just such an inspirational time to watch Southeast Asia grow and
Mhm.
not. I mean, previously Asia would look at America as kind of like the leader of these like cultures, and it's bootleg culture time, you know, like copy,
Yes.
imitation, that kind of thing. But now it's gotten more sophisticated, where these artists in Southeast Asia are creating their own style. Yes, they are being inspired by the source, but they are creating their own style and their own voice out here.
Absolutely. That's a beautiful thing. Beautiful, beautiful thing.
Yeah,
Wow.
man.
But I love to
Like I
hear.
have Richie Stevens coming out here. Sorry. I have Richie Stevens coming out here, and I was in the studio with him, and I made him sing in Bahasa, which is Indonesian language,
Ooh.
so that him, as a Jamaican, could come out to a ska festival here in Indonesia, where ska festivals are like 10, 20,000 people, like 20,000 teenagers jumping up to ska music out here, you know? So him, as a Jamaican, could come out here and sing in their language and make them go crazy, because they
Right.
won't believe it, you know?
Right, right, right. Yeah, well, I have to come out there. We have to come out there and experience that. Like, I
Yeah.
have to feel that
All right.
energy, like just
Yes.
up in my heart. I have to feel that.
Tell you what, when I make that Singapore Dub Club Festival, I'm calling for both of y'all to be out here,
Oh, we're there. We're
and
there.
you'll be like live and direct
That's
from
right.
Indonesia. It's
That's
thermal
right.
salad.
Even the Southeast Asia, well, any type of movement. Like, yes, I'm with all of that. All of that. Ready for it.
Wicked,
Absolutely.
wicked.
So
Yeah, we need more people, and we need more people like you, and we need more shows like Thermal Soundwaves. Because the flip side of it is that Asia, because the populations are huge, everything is mainstream. So the youth culture is just seeing everything at a very surface level.
you know
A
something.
lot of the people, yeah.
It's funny.
A lot of the platforms for underground culture, a lot of platforms for alternative culture does not exist. So we need
Wow.
more of you guys out here.
It's funny you say that because I'm working on something
You
that's
said-
in that whole
Yeah.
pocket that you're speaking
Yeah.
of right there. So soon come with some things.
We're already
with that.
plugged in with Masia One. Masia
Whoa.
Communications.
Do it, Ja.
Absolutely.
And hold on, yo, Masia. You know, if C.Truth and I come there, you know who else got to come there too, right? Larry.
Who?
Larry.
Larry! Come, Larry.
Larry.
Do it, Ja.
Sexy Masia. Larry.
So what's on the close agenda for you? I mean, you have the jerk sauce, you have Far East Empress still bubbling, you got the Wu Assassin series on Netflix right now that's popping off. What's
Yeah.
next? That's like real soon.
What's exciting is I'm invited to this dinner that I'll be letting the president of Singapore try the Suka Suka sauce, the Jamaican jerk
Wow.
sauce that's grown in Southeast Asia. But for me, this is significant because you have the president of Singapore trying something that's like from a culture of food from far away, and I'm hoping that's a way to symbolize bringing people closer together. And what's next? I'm going on tour. I'm going on tour to Indonesia, then Australia, and I just got a gig with Richie Stevens in an opera house in Italy. So we're gonna be rocking reggae and dancehall inside an opera house, which is amazing. And you know what? It's close to. And I have a record label called New Santara, so we're trying to kind of share the resources that I have, having hustled as an independent artist for all of these years, so that I can kind of bring up younger artists and kind of connect them to where they need to be. And yeah, I'm trying to get back to New York though, honestly.
Well, we're waiting on you
No,
whenever you're ready.
I got a two-part
Yeah.
question with that. One, are the artists you're looking for, do they have to be in Asia? They could be anywhere. Are you just willing to work with anybody that you feel fits, I should say?
Well, the manifesto for New Santara Records. New Santara is a word of what Southeast Asia used to be before we became individual countries. Because it used Philippines, Malaysia, Indonesia, Singapore all used to be ruled under one sultan. So it's our way of saying like the whole world's just an island. We're one people. So the manifesto for New Santara Records is as long as you pay respects to your roots and culture, and you're bringing it into the future. So we have artists named Kuno Kini that plays traditional Indonesian instruments like gamelan and stuff like that, but they play in hip hop and house using traditional instruments. So I think if they're, as long as the artist has a sense of like their own cultural roots and they're bringing that into the world and into the next century, then that's what we're interested in.
And the last part of that question, you mentioned you're about to have a dinner with the president of Singapore.
Yeah.
Isn't it also one of the people from Singapore way back in the days? They studied under Marcus Garvey in Jamaica, something like that, or was that Ho Chi Minh?
Yeah. So like the founding father, like the man of Singapore, his name is Lee Kuan Yew, and it's kind of funny we're having this conversation because today is Singapore Day. It's like the 54th anniversary of Singapore's independence. Thanks. We throw in a party and serving Jamaican jerk chicken. But it's true. Lee Kuan Yew was actually in Jamaica. He was friends with Michael Manley. Both countries was under the Queen, so we were both Commonwealth countries. So he was studying Jamaica post-colonialization, right? So he checked it out and called it the Pearl of the Caribbean, and learned a lot about the parliamentary system and what he wanted and didn't want from Singapore, following the Jamaican model. So it's crazy. Like the world thinks they're so different from each other, whether it's from skin color or geographic difference or cultural differences. And yet they never teach you these kind of ties in history that actually happened.
Exactly. To keep people apart, how that works. Divisiveness.
And that's why we share in the music.
Profits for
and that's
them.
why we share in the food.
Yeah, you can't stop that. You can't stop that. I don't care how much you try.
A vibe is a vibe,
Exactly.
Especially when you're on major airlines.
Yeah. Major consultant.
Go on.
Absolutely. So, with all the things that you're doing, what does Major do just to kick back and just, reset, retool the whole energy and vibe and whatnot? Because you do a lot of things.
Major relaxation.
You do a lot. You do a lot of things.
Yeah. Wow, it's crazy. You ask me all kinds of questions, like I answer, like kick back. What's that? Relax. What's that? I work really, really hard because I work like a team of 5. But I would say that the blessing about being out here in Southeast Asia is that you're never far away from an island. Mm-hmm. Like $50, I can fly to a beautiful island and swim turtles all day.
Wow.
So nice. I think that because Singapore is such a cosmopolitan city, I love to balance myself by just getting back in touch with nature. And no matter what city you're in and you're wowed by human ingenuity and technology, once you get reconnected with nature, you're like, well, nothing beats this.
Absolutely. Yeah, nothing does.
So I swim with turtles and eat banana pancakes on the beach.
That's the life. Ooh, that's the life. That's I call that a Sunday.
Some people will call that third world. I'll call that real world.
I call that a Sunday. That's a Sunday.
Real world.
Well, a lot of kids I know on the islands, they got like, one of them's got this tattoo on his back and it just says every day is a Sunday.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, man.
Me is your Sunday.
I think as a business person and as an artist, I've always lived by the rule that I should live where I would vacation and vacation where I would work.
Nice. Yes.
So I've always tried to keep the business mobile enough that would be possible.
Absolutely. So let everybody know where they can reach and touch Masia One with all the things that you're doing: music, jerk sauce, consulting, all of those things.
I think I'm most active on Instagram. Instagram is life out here. I'm telling you guys, if any artists out there or business people or entrepreneurs, you trying to get into the Singaporean market, get yourself a fly looking IG because it is life out here. So it's Masia One, MASIAONE, Masia1.com, Masia One everything. The propaganda is deep. And for the jerk sauce, it's called Suka Suka sauce, SUKA. In Indonesian, it means like anything is anything. It's kind of like the Indonesian for Irie, so Suka Suka sauce. But ask a Russian friend, it means something else in Russian. Sorry, Russian.
Yeah, risky peasky. Yeah.
Yeah, you can check it out, sukasukasauce.com. But yeah, Masia One.
Yeah,
You know how to
yeah,
do.
yeah. So
Hashtag Far East Empress, representing the far East side.
absolutely, absolutely. I'm looking for my bottle so I can sample and do a review and let everybody know how it tastes, so they can all just go and pick one up.
Pass the buckle.
Yeah, it's done. It's done. I'm sending it out. And with your tagline, the alternative to fast food, like Suka Suka sauce, 100% all
Oh,
natural, low sodium.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, plug one.
That's
plug
what
two.
I'm talking about. Yes.
The buckle.
Absolutely.
BOCCLE, a buckle.
Wow. Always a pleasure speaking and catching up with you, Major. There's always a new chapter being written in your book. And one day I want to read the full book when that is done, because I know that's going to come at some point too.
Blessing in life. For now, just check it out on Netflix.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Ooh, assassins.
All right, so I'm gonna let you go and get into some partying for Singapore Day. You know what I mean?
Shout out to a lot of Singaporeans out there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. Happy birthday, Singapore.
Yeah,
and I love you, New York. I miss it bad. I'm gonna holler at you when I'm back in town.
Absolutely.
No doubt.
All right, Major.
All right, peace.
All right, peace. It's Thermal Sound Waves, the natural alternative to fast food radio. Thermal Sound Wave.